Hello, everyone. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome back to Optimize. I'm your host, Fraser, with your other host, Steve. How you going, bro?
How are you, mate? I'm good. Been living my
We've
best
had,
life.
we've had a few big weeks um, that we'll be able to fill the audience in on.
Yeah,
But I guess I'll start by explaining today's theme. We're going to be looking at recovery.
and
So,
all the angles of it.
yeah, exactly. We'll approach it holistically. Um, we'll let you kick it off, bro. What have you been
Yeah,
up to throughout the last few weeks?
recovering. so
Yeah.
basically I'm back rolling for everyone who's been keeping up with that. So I'm back rolling, training with trusted training partners, no spazzy white belts or people that I just don't know.
You shan't be
Um,
rolling with me.
nah, I mean I'll trust you enough, but I won't give you a lot. I won't let you touch my leg. I'll keep that
Yeah,
away
yeah.
from you. But basically just the shift from I've had 11 weeks where the recovery of the knee was the priority, and now we've just shifted back to getting back to jiu-jitsu and building up the skill base. So I've had
Mm-hmm.
to back off a lot of the strength work to make way and to make room for the extra stimulus of, jiu-jitsu, grappling. I'm
And what was
also
the injury? Just for the audience.
PCL.
Like,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
Cruciate
Posterior
rupture.
cruciate ligament.
A nasty one. Don't recommend.
Yeah.
Would not
And
advise that.
quite a rare injury as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Surprisingly, apparently, it's more car crashes that cause PCLs
Mm.
than like the contact sports or twisting motions that target the ACL.
Mm.
But either way, here we are. We're back in action, and I'm doing a currently doing a side split sprint, which is where you try to get deeper and deepest in terms of your side split by training splits 3 times a week at undulating intensities. So if you just go balls to the wall 3 times a week, you're probably not going to make any progress because you're going to be overtrained. So I'm working closely with Lucas. He's guiding me through that just to
Mm.
restore my range back that I haven't had access to train at that intensity. So that's what's been on the cards. Moving back to jiu-jitsu, varying up the strength work. We still need to get enough of that in, but I do need to back off some of that just to make way for the returning my flexibility and also returning back to the mats. So that's me at a glance. It has been 2 weeks, the longest that we've gone without talking to each other on a podcast. We did sneak a training session in though. We should have
Bro, it's
filmed that.
close to 3 weeks. I think it's been three
3 weeks.
weeks.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, we're lucky to sneak that training session in while I was down in Dunedin. And by
Great
the
time.
way, to all the people listening, we're going to be moving the Optimized podcast to more of a live um, experience. So you'll actually get the video of both Steve and I engaging with each other, and that's going to start from you know
When? Tell
early
me.
2025, depending on when all these episodes are coming out and when we're kind of up to date. As soon as we're all locked in, it'll probably be like March
Yeah.
2025. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just you were telling me the other day you've created a school course
Yeah.
or a
Bro, we're on. Yep. So that was
epic.
the big obstacle, man. So all this turnover rate in Dunedin, and basically, you create relationships with all these fantastic students. They graduate, they leave, and they want to continue working with you. And I didn't have any platform established online that would allow that to happen. So there was a lot of back and forth messaging, videos, critiquing film and then watching matches and then giving feedback and back
Mhm.
and forth instruction. And I realized that I was sort of double dipping in my time. I was just going into, well, I literally have the same question 2 or 3 times in a week. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I answered this yesterday. And so we've basically put this platform together as a community for everyone
Mm.
who wants to progress their body, wants to progress their mind, wants to progress in jiu-jitsu. And if you're interested in either three of those circles, then you can come to the space BJJ Body, and you can learn how we train for strength, how we
Mm.
get flexible, and how we get and all the jiu-jitsu techs up there. So we've got live classes, we're filming them,
Epic,
breaking
bro.
it Oh, bro, it's
Yeah.
so cool. So that's been the like yeah the loading focus, and we've been open for like 2 days now, and we're already in the profit. So the app's not costing me anything anymore, which is mean. So
You're
it's
pumping.
like we're just gonna keep it going now, which is a big
I
win.
like BJJ Body because I know you were trying to figure out the name for a while. BJJ Body's simple and effective. You know, all
Yeah,
the jiu-jitsu athletes that you've worked with, it'll make so much sense, but it's also open-ended enough for new clientele as well. So
for
that's
sure.
exciting.
At a glance, you know what you're getting. You can see exactly what it's about. The B doesn't stand for Brazilian, but it's okay.
All right. What is it?
Booth. Just yeah,
Oh, of
the last.
course.
Yeah, of course, dog. Of course.
Yeah. Okay, that
Mate.
makes more sense because then it's. Then again, you don't necessarily have to be a jiu-jitsu practitioner, but want to be able to move, be as agile and as athletic as a jiu-jitsu practitioner. So it would work either way.
Yeah, for sure. And like, a lot of the people that are on there are just interested in getting stronger. They don't do jujitsu.
Mm.
So yeah, they're not coming there for the jujitsu body. They're coming there for like, the booth strength and conditioning. But it's either way, it's one platform that ticks all the boxes. So we'll roll it. We'll see how it goes. We'll build.
Amazing, man. I know what it's like to kind of be doing everything manually with clientele, and like it gets to the point where if you don't have a system to support your growth, it's very hard to go
Yeah,
anywhere.
there's that
It's good,
ceiling
man.
on it. Mm.
Yeah.
So you're back
Um,
in the country. Tell us about your trip.
yes, yes. So 3 week trip, 4 days in Bali, 10 days. Oh no, sorry, 4 days in Berlin, 10 days in Bali. It might have been 11 or 12. And then the last few days was down in Dunedin. Berlin was for a Les Mills live experience, and we had about 850 people staged around, you know, or like positioned around the main stage. And then there was like the setting was an old heating and power facility in like the central Berlin, so it was a dope setup. Uh, and it was a pretty amazing experience. I didn't realize how big of uh, a culture there was for group fitness, especially connected to Les Mills over in Europe. So that was my first time doing one of those events, which was cool. And then Dylan Werner was running a. He's a relatively well-known like yogi athlete throughout the social media platforms, and he was running a myofascial integrated anatomy um, training, which was about 8 or 9 days. We had a rest day in the middle, and it was looking at how to train the different properties of fascia. So we'll be able to weave it in with some of the recovery-based protocols we talk about today, because it was the first training I've ever experienced, and he's the only person I know that is actually doing that justice. A lot of people
Mm.
talk about fascia, but not many are talking about the athletic adaptations you need and how to create those particular adaptations within the fascia. And it's looking at things like glide, getting the muscles and layers of myofascia to actually slide and unstick, slow viscoelasticity, fast viscoelasticity. So it's like the um, the the simple glide relates to the slow viscoelasticity, and that's when you're kind of like 1 to 2 seconds in one position, end range, 1 to 2 seconds in the opposite, and it's just slowly greasing the grooves. Whether the elasticity is more of a bouncing movement,
Mm.
lots of just like pumping the arms, bouncing up and down through the Achilles. It's like
So
really good to.
comparative, like maybe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but like maybe head to toe gliding or like pancake clusters
Yep.
compared to like hopping, skipping, bouncing in
Hmm.
a yeah. Okay, cool. Yep.
And imagine, you know, the hundreds of different positions you can get into yoga, but then bouncing, figuring out
Yeah.
how, like pigeon pose,
Yeah.
getting into the position in the hip where it feels good, and then supporting yourself with your hands and bouncing,
Yeah. Nice.
and then
Yeah.
straightening the leg into like a triangle position, big stretch through
Yeah.
the TFL, and then back into pigeon, and then back into the triangle. Both legs are straight, back into the pigeon. So it's lots of those. Like I really liked how he connected the
Yeah. Because
modalities.
Well, he's been ahead of the game in terms of fascia for well, from a yoga perspective and from a
Mm,
like a strength practice perspective, he has been ahead of the game for a while. I
mm,
remember him talking about like when I had like not enough awareness to basically get through his classes, and he'd be trying to get you to feel the fascia,
mm.
like the pull and the glide, like you're saying. And I remember thinking like this guy is expecting me to be able to control my big toe and my middle finger and feel the fascia line all the way through. It's like,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
He,
it's cool
he's
stuff.
like being a Greco-Roman wrestler from like early age, like early teens up until like early 20s. He was third in the world at one point. He had a really athletic base, and then getting into rock climbing and yoga, he's just become so strong in terms of relative body weight potential.
Yeah, and he
So
did
it's
pay
cool
the
to see him
toll
move.
by
Yeah. And I
fixing
think
his
he's like
injury.
he's like mid 40s now, so it's amazing to see someone that age killing it. It's like more athletic, more mobile and strong than everyone.
Yeah, yeah, bro, like that's the goal. Like if you're living a lifestyle that doesn't allow you to recover, there's a time limit on how long you can train that way and you will break. And your ceiling is a lot lower than if you play the long game. So I'm always people like Kit Lachlan, people my coach Lucas, he's somewhere in his
Mhm,
40s. Dylan, people that
mhm.
are in their 40s plus, yeah, you're gonna get some content, you're gonna get some good value, more so than the 22-year-old telling you what you should be doing.
When they can prove it with their actions and their movement,
Oh yeah.
you know, you see them move, you see them do these things, and you know it's like, oh, you've been dedicated to this for 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Did you
You've
notice?
obviously you've gone through your injuries and you've figured it out, and this is like, yeah, it's taken a long time to get to this point, so it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Did you notice on the back of the travel, traveling always messes me up a bit, whether it's the sleep or whatever it is. Any differences in your performance, your range of motion, your strength?
Bro, I was really expecting that. I think we discussed it before I left, but
Yeah,
I was really lucky. I took a sleeping pill on the long flight over, and I managed to
yeah,
get 8 hours on that first flight. And then for those 4 days in Berlin, I was waiting for the jet lag to hit me, but
yeah.
somehow, like the second night I was there, I went to sleep at like 7 p.m. and I got a big sleep. And that's a great segue into one of the
Yeah.
most important, oh, it's definitely the most important recovery tool we all have.
Top of the chain.
You say it. What is it?
It's sleep. It's sleep
Yeah.
in a proper dark room, cool environment, no
Yeah.
noise. Definitely not what I'm doing, sharing the bed with two dogs. Don't do that.
Oh
Don't
man,
do
wait until you've got a baby or a toddler. It's fun as
that.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Oh,
that's definitely our pillar. Our main pillar for recovery is sleep.
yeah.
So it messes me up every time I go traveling. So I'm glad that you managed that.
Yeah. I saw a
Yeah.
meme and it was like some samurai warrior like trying everything he can, like battling through duress to become the best version of himself. And then like cut off to like a meme of just someone looking like, bro, just go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's like, what are
Yeah.
you doing at 10:30? Scrolling the blue light. Just get to bed.
Makes so much sense. I think so I would be interested to hear from our listeners as well on this, and you, but I've never taken a nap, not a single nap in 34 and whatever months, years. There has
Whoa.
been no napping. So I don't
What?
have any sleep. Yeah, I don't have any sleeping problems, dude. Like I go to sleep, I wake up, I was up 5:59 before 6 a.m. Thanks for
No,
wrecking my mornings, Fraser. No, but you've made them that much better and enriched.
it's good. It's
So
good.
up this morning, same time, bed, same time. And I know friends and training partners that regularly nap for 15 minutes. They'll nod off. They swear by it. Um,
Hmm.
no experience with it. So
Yeah, I've got a little experience with it, especially when I was working at Aroha doing long hikes. I'd come back at 2 p.m. and then I'd fall asleep on the couch because it was just getting all of this sunlight. I was just like
sure.
warm, probably dehydrated, and I'd fall asleep for like 20, 30 minutes. But I'd always wake up feeling absolutely charged.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
I
there's
know,
something.
yeah, like Khabib, um, throughout all of his years of wrestling, to become like one of the greatest of all time, he was saying every day, like he's napping.
Little nap, little
Yeah,
Russian power.
yeah, because it's
Yeah,
crucial. Crucial for repairing muscle and regulating hormones. It's where all of the deep regeneration, cellularly actually occurs. So if
yeah,
we're not getting at least, in between 7 to 9 hours, everyone's different. But if you're cutting it shorter than seven, you're eating away at yourself.
yeah. This is so true. This is so true, and this is something I think most people they do. Well, they've listened to Huberman or they've listened to their parents, whoever tells them to get to bed. It changes. It's actually something that I started making sure that I worked on with the dark room, the cool room, no lights, no blue lights, no work before bed.
Mm, which is hard.
Just no, yeah, like within that 3 to 4 or 2 to 3 hour window, tone down the food, tone down the brain, get into the mindset to have your best sleep. I was doing that for memory and like retention of what I've studied and, setting myself up for the best version of myself so I could train harder the next day. And I found all those benefits kicked in as well. Like I had the retention that I needed. There was no cognitive lag. So,
Mm,
we're going to attract people to sleeping with, protein synthesis and all your gains. But reality
mm,
is it's so crucial for your brain.
yeah, and like recovery is a very open-ended thing. Obviously, for athletes that are breaking down muscle constantly and really exerting physically, we need to focus more on recovery because without that, you're effectively just draining all the energy from the body and you're not replenishing it. And it won't take too long before you get to a point of burnout or you can't continue to function like that. But then for other people, maybe that are more mentally, you know, exerting throughout the day, if they're researchers or something like that, the brain still uses a hell of a lot of energy. They need to down regulate as well, but it's different compared to if you're breaking down muscle. You're really having to put more focus into adding the protein, increasing the carbohydrate, and replenishing the everything that you're breaking down.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got to refuel. So it's yeah.
So we got like a sleep and nutrition.
Mm.
And they're kind of the main two that go hand to hand. You're pretty big on the outside the box methods of recovery as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
what would you be thinking? Outside the
Uh,
box?
outside the box, I mean the main sort of things that I do, keeping my stress levels super low. I
Mm,
recognize when the way that my lifestyle needs to be in order to optimize my performance, if that's not aligned, if I feel like financially stressed, I feel stressed about upcoming events or stressed about the way that, whatever it is, whatever is out of alignment, whatever's out of whack, you write that. And then suddenly your recovery,
mm,
it's set on the right trajectory. Some people will focus just on protein, just on sleep. Maybe they hit the ice baths and the saunas,
yeah.
but they're in such a state of high stress that none of that matters.
Yeah, man. It's brilliantly said because without routine, routine's such a big one. If we don't make the habits of keeping ourselves in check physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and keeping all of these things aligned, you're right. Stress is going to come about.
Mm.
And yeah, it doesn't matter how much protein you eat, if your mind is racing and your body is becoming more sympathetically driven and stressed because of it, you're not going to become all that you want to be and succeed in the way that you really wish. So,
Yeah. I do think we've gotten very lucky with our generation in the sense that, like, our parents' generation, they had a different kind of stress.
mm,
And then we have our own, but I'd say that ours is less than the generation coming up now. They're exposed to it's so normal. TikTok, social media,
mm,
like just a bunch of crap going into
yeah,
their brain, stressing them out, fucking them up. And
yeah,
it's like we ducked that. So my normal
yeah,
stress levels are way lower than anyone who's like
mm,
12 to 15. 15-year-olds must be a hard time.
mm.
Couldn't imagine.
But imagine the stimulus of social media from a young age. We've only had it for, I guess, 15 years, from probably when we were 15, social media started to pop up, maybe a little bit later.
For
But yeah,
me, I was 19 when I got on Facebook.
yeah, it's probably around the right age. Like kids were, you're a few years older as well.
Yeah,
You're 33, 4.
34. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you're right. It's like kids that are having access to that stuff at like age 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're effectively just running the pokies of dopamine
It's-
dampening, and
yeah.
just it's creating so much cortisol and stress in the body. If only they could create the space in the mind with meditation and things like non-sleep deep rest. Huberman always talks about it, which is effectively, you know, it's a guided body scan meditation where you actually bring more awareness to the sensations you feel in the body as opposed to just consuming memes and reels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, like I want to come back to meditation because that's something I've introduced with my dad. And like for anyone who doesn't know my old man, like the chance of getting this dude to meditate is like it's not going to happen. Like you will get blood from a stone before you get him meditating.
Well,
But he can actively walk out in nature, pick up stones, tutu with stuff. That's his active meditation, as opposed to sitting there and tuning in, which is what most people at a glance might think meditation is.
mm-hmm.
He's a mover. He's been moving for 62 years. He doesn't stop moving. So one of the ways that we got him in a relaxed state of mind, instead of thinking about things like work, was to get him out in nature with the dogs and just have
Mm-hmm.
time to himself, listening to music, listening to the birds, whatever it is. And
Amazing.
immediately behavior changes in what was so like, so much tension, so much pain. I got work to do, I got this to that. Comes home
Yeah.
relaxed, happy, shoulders visibly lower, no neck
Yeah.
pain, etc., etc.
Yeah. There's the the process of recalibration and moving through everything that's in the mind with effortless flow that occurs with meditation. That it feels like when we engage with social media and we engage with all these forms of technology, it is not giving our brain any space at all because it's constant stimulus, bite-sized 3 to 5 second bits just blasting in our face, and
Gross.
it's addictive, and it's very hard to put it away and take the time to down regulate and to create that space, which is it's so key for recovery. And meditation, I've been exploring it for, you'd probably say 15 years, because breathing and meditation are so synonymous,
Interlinked.
interlinked. Yeah, in many ways, the awareness of the breath is always a foundational principle of meditation, and it's like a recharging. It's a grounding and recharging of body and mind when you let yourself be quiet and allow these processes and all the internal dialogue of the mind to naturally occur. And you know it and feel it 15 minutes after you come out, and you're like, ah, life's not too bad.
Clarity.
Clarity,
Yeah, yeah.
space.
That's a performance tool that people like. No one's programming that. No one's programming unless you are outside of the box thinker, maybe like someone who works with high performance American NFL players, like they're used to those crucial moments where all lights are on you. UFC fighters, you know,
Mm,
Israel Adesanya, I know, is big on getting some breath work in before his
mm-hmm,
performances, set himself in the right state of mind for the focus, the job, the task, the mission at hand.
mm-hmm.
Bomb disposal units are now doing it. Um, like it makes so much
That's
sense.
cool.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you've got one chance to hit this.
Yes.
Let's make sure you're in the right state of mind. What is the best, most effective way to do that? Various breath practices.
Yeah. And like the the deep state of meditation you generally end up in after a cyclic hyperventilatory, breathing intervention is it's profound. Some people can't necessarily get straight into those, cyclic breathing rhythms straight away because they're level of anxiety, you're a little bit too aroused. But for sure, if you can enter that place slowly and start practicing breathing interventions, it's going to add up.
And I think check out Huberman's physiological sigh or physiological reset. I can't quite remember what he calls it, but it's that big inhale, that double bubble, and then the out, yeah. And it's like that. Preventing burnout.
And it's free, man. It's free.
Free health and happiness, guys.
Yeah. So, what would you think burnout would be? Have you ever experienced it? What is it?
And yeah, I've experienced it. Oh, well, three things just jumped into my mind, so I'll categorize them as I speak. Firstly, burnout from teaching. When I was full-time teaching, I recognize that like when you're outside of school and you're consuming like you're doing something that's meant to be for you, and your brain's wandering to, oh, this would make a good lesson, or oh, I need to do this, or so and so
Mm,
email lesson plan. Too much there. Too much for me. Respect all the teachers that do that, but nope. That's just I'm not having my thoughts and my own well-being consumed by
hmm.
what gets me a salary for someone educating their kids. Like,
Great
wasn't
point.
worth it for me
Well,
personally.
organization. It's like the more organized and prepared we are, the less those thoughts will probably enter. It's like I know exactly what I'm doing for the next week. It's already locked in. I've got the freedom to live my life.
For sure. And like, but I could yeah, I guess it's just the uncontrolled atmosphere of a school where you've got like a list of things that are stacking up versus if I know I have to run a class or run a seminar or a workshop or a private, whatever it is so easy and like I know my clients, I know my content, I know how it's going to go down, that there's no stress attached to the uncertainty. You
Yeah.
just deal with it, you adapt. I could run and I do this all the time. I run a jiu-jitsu class, plan it out, teach the first tech, look at the level of the room, and be like, okay, throw the lesson plan out the door. This is what you guys need based off what I've seen. And that
Oh,
adaptability,
that's bro.
yeah,
It intrigues me because I started thinking about how it's energy out and what the difference between going to the gym and putting energy into a workout session compared to teaching 20 people. There's it's a depth of energy you need to, and like mana and life force, you need to be in that position, and you're giving so much more energy out,
bingo,
and
yeah.
you probably feel, when you get home, you're absolutely drained.
That's the like so teaching, I was going to connect to the next thing, and that's socializing. Like I am
Yeah.
incredibly burnt out after big events where I have to see so many people. I could talk to you, Phrase, for
Mm,
5 hours and I'll
mm.
be fine. But as soon as there's 3 to 4 to 5 people, I'm starting to get drained. I'm gonna have to go recharge my batteries later.
Yeah,
And
it's
I, I felt like
it's
that
like
would accumulate burnout.
it's something to do with the energy of authenticity, and when we're not being authentic and having to, I guess, appease a conversation because you're in a social atmosphere. It's like you want to be polite, but it's like it's giving energy out.
Yeah. It's draining
And
the tank.
yeah, I've got a good example. It was Gabor Mate, who's one of the leading trauma specialists. He was a doctor for 40 years before getting more down the research of trauma. And he does lots of touring of the world, teaching his workshops and teaching his philosophy and concepts. And even him being such a grounded, understands energy in this way, he gets back and his wife sees him at very low. The mood is like very agitated, very erratic, and it's like, yeah, no matter who you are, if you put that much energy out, you've got to take the time to recover, go into that hibernation.
For
uh
sure.
yeah, get good sleep, good nutrition.
And that connects like to the social and the mental fatigue. that's caused burnout. And then I have my physical, and that would be the when I was doing jujitsu twice a day, 4 days a week. And then on the other 3 days, I was doing jujitsu once a week, strength and
Mm.
conditioning once a week. And eventually my body just burnt out, which is actually way easier for me to adjust and deal from, adapt, reset than the mental. Like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like there was a never-ending time limit when I was stuck in a situation that would fatigue me mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Physical burnout, you can manage. Just whatever, undulate your sessions, drop a set, lower the intensity, do tech instead of rolling hard, do 3 rounds instead
Mm.
of the 12 you had planned to go to war,
Yeah.
like easy
I
to
love
manage.
I love the angle this discussion has gone, because recovery methodologies, you'd often think, yes, of course, sleep and nutrition are some of the biggest rocks. Everyone knows that. You've got things like cold immersion, foam rolling. You could look at, contrast, hot, cold exposure, as all these things to help increase circulation and promote the recovery. But we're talking about the energy of conversation, and when you're not being true to yourself,
Destroying
and
us.
yeah, if you're not organized and if you don't have
Mm.
good routine, it's like it's very hard to recover, because you're constantly leaking energy. You're always in your mind.
Mm. Does it come down to time for you? Like, do you feel if with adequate time you could keep going?
Time is a perception thing as well, because the more organized we become, the more the more time we put in to preparing ourselves for the following day or the following week, the more spacious the days seem, because you're like, I know exactly what I need to be doing at this moment. I'll focus on that. As opposed to, we're trying to catch ourselves like, oh, I've got that to do and that and that. 5 hours later, you've been running around in a circle and nothing, like no tasks have been achieved. Yeah,
Fascinating. I
it is.
bought a tiny little old school timer that I flick over and it trickles down in I think it's 4 to 5 minutes. It's somewhere in between there. And I've just been using that I bought it for flexibility because I didn't
Nice.
like having my phone around if I was trying to time something
Mm-hmm.
stretching.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this little timer to be like, this is my passive end range position. I'm going to flip it, be here for 4 to 5 minutes. And what I've found is that I've been able to microdose tasks, work tasks, anything. Just
Mm.
flick this thing, and it's like I did not know that when I bought this 50 cents item that it was gonna sit on my desk, like be a part of my like daily little like, hey, it's like let's get this done. Let's try and do it in 2 flips.
It's the most valuable tool you've got.
Yeah, you can't have it. It's mine.
Yeah, like it's funny, like you saying 4 to 5 minutes. I just want to touch on a point that Dylan was talking about when we were researching the physiology of flexibility. And supposedly, you get no more benefit stretching longer than 2 minutes on one particular area. And that's usually broken up in 2 to 3 sets. So you do 30 seconds, rest, 30 seconds, rest, 1 minute. And anything more than that, you're not going to make adaptation in terms of mobility and elongation of the tissues, which is interesting, because yin yoga, something that I've been exposed to for 10 years probably,
Long
they're all
hold.
about holding this position for 10 minutes.
Mm. I think it was missing from one of the stimuluses that I needed to give my tissues. So I've done
Mm,
a lot of higher intensity, 30 seconds, set reps, load. And what I found was that in order for me to actually settle into some of the sensations that were quite neural, like hamstring, front split hamstring work, passive 3 minutes to 5 minutes changed everything for me. And I've been
okay.
doing all the long loaded lunges. I've been doing all the work that I needed to in the strength and the alignment. So yeah, I mean, whatever. Maybe I've got more of an athletic rig through the lower body. Lots of
Mm.
sprinting, lots of rugby, lots of jiu-jitsu. So maybe I just needed a bit more time to open it up, you know?
No, well, there's definitely validity in that, because I would agree. I know that meditation is generally said at least 15 minutes before your mind starts to you know, you down regulate to the point where you find that space, that freedom. So I would agree. I think there's still definite value in recovery protocols with longer hold stretches. Yeah, man.
However, you could probably pull your mind into a meditative space, clarity within 5 minutes efficiently.
Yes, yeah, depending
Yeah.
on the position, eh?
So, yeah, maybe Dylan's so good he can do it in 30 seconds 3 times.
Yeah, maybe like he did have a thing against dogma in yoga when it comes to the whatever style of yoga has been taught. And he was saying, why do we need to put our right foot back first? Why does our hip need to be in this angle? All this stuff. It's like because some guru said it 100 years ago, and then when he died, the next guru said, no, actually we're supposed to go left foot back first.
The
And
eternal battle.
he was poking fun at the whole thing, just like, no, actually, this is where we have evolved to, and this is all the stuff we know in relation to science of fascia, of the nervous system. So it's like, let's use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah.
I'm going to pick your brain re fascia later, but if we come back to recovery outside of the box, the add-ons, the extras,
Mm-hmm.
we've looked at sleep, nutrition, undulating your schedule, managing your workload, recognizing burnout,
Mm,
and then adjusting what you need to.
yes,
What else
bro.
you got?
Active recovery is a simple one, and it's all about promoting circulation. A lot of athletes will do a heavy session, and then the next day they're back in the gym, but they're very light intensity, just on the stationary bike, something just to get the blood flowing, but not break down any more tissue or overexert the nervous system.
Hmm.
For athletes, that's quite an important recovery tool, I would say.
Now let's come back to that because
Yeah.
we're going to get off the bike and we're going to go to something like quarter reps. Now, quarter reps, partial reps, short range, quarter dips, quarter bench, whatever. Say you can't straighten your elbow and you
Mm-hmm.
start working, 100 quarter reps. That is the key to promoting blood flow to an area.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually, icing, ricing, whatever it is to help recovery, there is some evidence out there that in your best interest, you should get short range work for massive amounts of volume
Whoa.
until the area is flooded with blood, feeling really good and oxygenated, and start the healing process, and then move that to mid range, and then move that to long range. And
Mm.
ultimately, that could be a formula that works for you in terms of recovery of a body part that's not
Yeah.
playing ball.
Bro, I love it. And it
And it's
aligns
fun.
with some of the stuff we were doing in terms of these like both arms up above the head. You're
Oh,
pumping there
pulse,
for 50 reps and then the arms are wide, 50 reps.
pump,
So if
pump,
you've done
pump.
a heavy power bench day the day before, it's boom, blood flow, blood flow, blood flow. And yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna help you recover.
Yeah, I like it. I'd do that.
Uh,
I do it
I
all
was
the
also
time. I walk.
I was also thinking infrared therapy and
Beautiful.
sauna use. We talked about hot colds as well. Yes, it's helping circulation, but there's also some cool stuff looking at how it's kind of stimulating collagen production and also getting deeper into the cell to promote uh, healing and to promote blood flow and reducing inflammation. So
Yeah.
there's some good. I haven't actually used infrared that much, um, but I know people do rave about it.
Yeah, I've had access to like red light therapy, and like again, you can't feel much going on, but like cellular meant to be really good for you.
Mm,
So it's just whack that on and try to get your chest on it, try to get the exposure to the key areas.
mm,
Soak that up. Sun, man, sun's an underrated tool for recovery. Like get out there,
mm.
soak up that vitamin D, bare chested, tiny stubbies, soak it all up. It's good for you.
Get your feet on the ground
Grounding,
and
100%.
yeah, it actually neutralize the buildup of EMF that we get from constantly being in front of our phones and laptops and
Gross.
Wi-Fi. Just go get in nature for at least 15 minutes with your feet on the
Yeah.
ground. It's proven. It decreases inflammation systemically. It down regulates the nervous system. It enters you into a state of regeneration through parasympathetic drive. It ticks all the boxes.
That's fantastic that you mentioned that. The breath rounds, the breath retention where you're walking,
Yeah.
empty lungs. Oh, and bro, we've been playing with this at the gym. Breathe in, breathe out, perform 8 reps of whatever exercise you're doing. Obviously not heavy,
Mm.
but still get a strength stimulus. And my goodness, when we take those first breaths in, we're like, yeah, pump to the area. But interestingly, like you said, the best distance, time, the amount of steps that I got on empty lungs,
Mm.
137 steps on empty lungs barefoot. And I
Okay.
had no cell phone on me. I was in Tiano, of all places. So
Nice.
whether we're getting more oxygen from that air, bottom of the South Island, bottom of New Zealand, pristine
Yeah.
rainforest style, and
Air
I'm outside
quality.
there. Yeah,
Well, bro, let's get a slightly deeper. I got two things from what you said: carbon dioxide levels in the blood and in the lungs. And I also want to touch on electrolytes and hydration.
yes,
So, the amount of CO2 we've got in the blood uh, determines how much oxygen we can effectively absorb by the cells. We need enough CO2 in the blood to allow us to use oxygen. And oxygen is the thing that fuels all of the cells. Um, and it helps to rid the process of breathing gets rid of all the waste product, all the buildup of metabolic byproduct from cellular activation. But if we don't have enough CO2 in the blood, it's not good. So if someone has been shallow breathing and very stressed for a long period of time, 5 to 10 years, uh, they are so inefficient at using the oxygen that they breathe in, it's going to be harder to recover. And the methods by which they can increase the level of CO2 are things like breath retentions on the inhale or the exhale, and training in the way that you just said to help slowly increase our tolerance to carbon dioxide. And it's something that I'm going to research more next year, 2025, depending on when this episode's released. And I'm really excited to understand even more of the deep cellular physiology. So,
bro. If you need participants study, you need to poke
done.
some guinea pigs. Like I sign up because I just feel good after doing, restricted breathwork training.
Yeah.
I've been bringing it into brought it into my running without even realizing it when I was younger.
Mm,
Um, it was the old drink water, keep the water in your mouth and run, and
yeah.
that'll hydrate you. But it was
Mm,
actually just I was nasal breathing. Like I'm running fast and
yeah.
nasal breathing,
And you makes it,
and
yeah,
you're not
you
getting as
become
much
so
oxygen.
much more efficient.
You get way fitter. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to take my breath away, Fraser, and make me do stuff,
Bro, let's do it. As soon as
but
I as soon as I get some funding for this
yeah,
research, then you'll be
yeah,
one of the first people I call.
yeah,
And
no, coffee
actually,
sponsors come back.
we need to remember episode 7 is when we said this. So then we need to get some of the audience members, if they're floating around the Dunedin area, get them in for the
Yeah,
research as well.
yeah, we'll pump it.
And the other thing I was thinking is that we sweat out salty water, but often only replace it with water.
It's not hydrating.
It's as simple as that, eh? It's like you
Mm.
need salts, you need electrolytes. And if you're not replacing what you're losing, if you're sweating a lot, again, very hard to recover.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've said this to my team, the jiu-jitsu guys, like weigh yourself before open mats, weigh yourself after open mats. Shock horror, you lost 2.5 kilos
Yeah.
and you drink a tiny 600 ml pump bottle of water. You are not rehydrating. Then you sit in
Yeah.
a car. It's like, come on, guys.
Yep, bro. And this is a great lead in into a personal anecdote I've got from when I was training as a young buck. But man, like think of losing 3 kg, and then instead of smashing all of the fluid over the next 5 to 6 hours, replacing all the electrolytes and feeling great the next day, some people might slowly be replacing that water over the next 2 to 3 days with the food they're eating and the fluid they're consuming But think how much more efficient your recovery would be if you just hydrated.
Mm. Intra-session, like this is the hack that I bought in, was I'd run a sesh and I'd go and tell people, drink your electrolytes now.
Go
Because
now.
you will forget, like an hour will go by, you'll slap hands, you'll have fun with all the boys, you'll think about the awesome flying submission you got, you'll go home, you're still dehydrated. Like
Yeah, yeah.
drink during the class, drink after the class, and if you want to be really, really good, drink before the class.
Especially if you land a flying submission, because you're on
Yeah.
adrenaline. You
Oh,
know,
you're
you're so
pumping.
happy, you're charged, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
your energy goes down. You're like, man, why do I feel like shit? Why do I have a headache?
Yeah. Because you didn't
Um,
listen to our podcast.
yeah, exactly. Optimize
Optimize
yourself.
yourself.
Side note, I'm working on getting an optimized little animation for the start of the podcast to pop up.
Awesome.
So it'd be cool to be able to zoom,
Is it
optimize.
your is it your face?
No, no, no.
Just
It's just going to
rotating?
be the the circular logo as the O and then optimize, but
Comes out. Okay.
it doesn't look that nice yet. So
We
yeah,
play with it. Play with
give it time,
it.
bro. So you might have a personal anecdote like this. I was probably 15, just starting in the gym, and bro, loved lifting heavy and training hard. Like,
Oh yeah.
I had the will to win and the will to be the best and to succeed. Like as many 15-year-olds probably do. They've learned from the greatest, Muhammad Ali. They've looked up to all of these elite superstars. Like, I can do it. So you start training hard, and you just have no idea how much you need to be eating if you're breaking muscle down, and how much
Mm.
fluid you need to be drinking, and how much sleep you need to be getting. It completely worked against me for the first 2 years of training because we would be doing 10 sets of squat and bench and another 7 accessory movements during the hour lunchtime, just smashing it, and then would have a little calcium with like, bro, 6 grams of
Nutritious.
protein, eight
Yeah.
grams of protein, like me, yeah, we good. And then I'd be falling asleep every day after school. Mum would come home and be like, oh, why are you falling asleep? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just really tired.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, your
Bro,
body's
I
dead.
trained. I trained harder than anyone has ever listened. Anyone in the world, anyone possibly listening to this podcast. I trained harder than you. Look, I'm taking the piss, but for 4 months, I trained so hard, and I was 3% body fat. And I've got my in-body scans, and I was lifting weights, I was running, I was eating. I still lost 1.4 kilos of muscle from 4 months aside. I was shocked. I like got on the scan. I said you're 3% body fat and 76 kilo of lean muscle or whatever it was. I was like, oh, sick.
Mm,
Let's get after it. And
mm,
all that ended up happening was I just used muscle to replace the fact I wasn't eating adequately and I didn't have enough fat on my body and my workload was too high and I wasn't adequately fueling. I was 19 years old and I would be taller, I would be thicker if I just knew what I knew now, you know?
yeah,
So make the
man.
fueling up.
It's so simple, and yet,
That's
it's simple looking back, knowing what we know now. But for any aspiring athletes, yeah, or older athletes, if you're not already doing these things, uh, go back and re-listen to the podcast of all the points. We could probably do another episode just on recovery because we could go
just
deeper into like foam rolling is big, getting a ball to release these trigger
balls.
points, or the science of muscle spindles, all these things with fascia.
The poor
We could
man's
go
massage.
deep. But the crux of it is you're you're connecting to your body. You're placing an object, a roller or a hard object, to start releasing these adhesions and tight areas of the body, and feeling this cathartic effect when you release the where the sensation or the pain was, and all of a sudden it's like, I can breathe. I can breathe easier. I feel a natural glide in my gait cycle, and I'm back. But before that, you didn't realize how tense you were.
100%, bro. Did it get easier? Because mine was excruciating when I stuck that lacrosse ball into my TFL and my hip. And then one day I could roll on that thing for half an hour. I wouldn't feel anything.
Yeah. Sorry, it
Yeah.
can,
Okay,
but
cool.
it's it, it definitely can. But if your body is not in the optimal position for the right muscles to be doing their job,
It's gonna be tight.
and your glute medius and TFL and erectors and the wrong muscles are trying to become the prime movers of the body, then you're always going to be tight in those areas.
Yeah, so I can bring on the pain with a lacrosse ball through anywhere in the shoulders, like rotator cuff, especially if I find like, infra, and I put the lacrosse ball on there, I pin it, and I hit my externals and internals.
Mm,
That's
mm,
agony. But I did notice my hips when I got more flexible, got stronger where I
mm.
needed to be. Hip capsule got healthier. Now I can
Yeah,
roll on that thing. It just feels nice.
yeah.
But
Like
I was I was in pain.
some of those, like subscap, all those
Oh,
shoulder rotator cuff muscles. Sometimes I feel they're like neural. I'm like, oh, is that the right sensation?
in
But
my
then other
neck.
times, you get into the pick minor and like, oh, you are fibrotic.
Yeah.
No, no. Oh
Nah,
no.
yeah. Rolling over the pec was nasty, eh? Like getting into the shoulder girdle, amped out. That's
Mm.
painful. Yeah.
Oh,
No, we
bro,
need more of that.
TFL, and most people say you don't roll the iliotibial band, but like I think you can because it's blending into the vastus lateralis and getting into that outer thigh. And damn, man, that was terrible for me when I first started.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually found um like the feet were the best one for me, rolling with a broomstick,
Yeah.
standing on a broomstick, rolling the foot, lacrosse ball foot. Um, the Kit Laughlin's method with the stick where you're kneeling, double Caesar
Mm,
position, and then you're sitting back on the stick,
mm.
rolling out your calves. And again, if we have some tech guy, eventually the video will pop up in the corner, guys. You'll know
Bro,
exactly
you read
what
my
we're talking
mind. As you said, just like, if only we could get the little clip, just like, oh yeah, mean. And then we
There's the
just
homie.
sipping a glass of whiskey like cheers, bro.
Yeah, mate. Mythical.
Oh, Shits and Gigs is a podcast, two English boys. Do you know of
Yeah.
it? Have you heard it?
Now you told me about it a while back.
Oh,
Great.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, give it a watch because they're up to episode 400 or so,
Oh,
and
these guys are on.
bro, they've been going for years. But it's just a good thing for us to, to aspire to. We're going to be in
Yeah.
this for the next decade. Who knows, bro? Rogan's been doing it for that long.
Is that us, brother?
Yeah, that's us. A quick summary: recovery tools for the audience. If you're not sleeping correctly, if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours in a cool, dark room, fix that first and foremost. Hydration and nutrition are big rocks as well. What else did we cover?
We looked at using.
Meditation.
Yep.
Yeah. And like you brought up, I loved where you took the discussion because it wasn't all the ticking the boxes. It was talking about uh, the state of mind we're in and the importance of organization and routine to allow us to be in that state of recovery. Because if the mind is rampant, we again we don't have a
We're done.
chance. Yeah, man.
For sure.
Epic.
How good, eh?
Okay, team. Yep. That was episode 7, focusing on recovery. Kia ora, team. Thank you so much.
Cheers for
We'll
listening.
see you next time.
See you next time.
Peace out.